Hello, students, and welcome back to the English class of Standard 10. Today we will resume the lesson Let's March, written by Kailash Satyarthi. Before moving ahead with the lesson, let us have a short recapitulation of what we learned in the previous module. We learned about the life of Kailash Satyarthi and his works. Kailash Satyarthi won the Nobel Peace Prize for his selfless contribution towards preserving child rights. This lesson is a speech that he delivered at the occasion of prize distribution ceremony. He shares his experiences and urges the audience to unite for the cause of humanity and inculcate the value of global compassion. This lesson is divided into three parts. The first part was completed in the first module of this lesson. Today, we will do the second and the third part. First passage, page number 81, from part 2 onwards till page number 82. They are our children. Let me read it for you. We can do it. You may ask that. What can one person do? I would recall a story of my childhood. A heavy fire had broken out in the forest. All the animals were running away, including Lion, the king of the forest. Suddenly, then, he saw a tiny bird rushing towards the fire. He asked the bird, "What are you doing?" To the lion's surprise, the bird replied, "I am going to extinguish the fire." The lion laughed and said, "How can you do it, keeping just one drop of water in your beak?" The bird was adamant, and she said, "I am doing my bit." 18 years ago, millions of individuals marched across the globe and demanded a new international law for the abolition of worst form of child labor. And it has happened. We did it. Millions of individuals did it. Friends, we live in an age of rapid globalization. We are connected through high-speed internet. We exchange our goods and services in one single global market. Thousands of flights every day connect us from one corner to another corner of the globe. But there is one serious disconnect, and there is a lack of compassion. Let us inculcate and transform these individuals' compassion into a global compassion. Let us globalize compassion. Mahatma Gandhi said, "If we are to teach real peace in this world, we shall have to begin with the children." I humbly add, let us unite the world through the compassion for our children. I ask, whose children are they who stitch footballs yet never played with one? Whose children are they who harvest cocoa yet have never tasted chocolate? Whose children are they who are dying of Ebola? Whose children are they who are kidnapped and held hostage? They are all our children. In this passage, the author is sharing a very interesting story about the fire in the forest. Everybody was running for life, including the king of the forest, the lion. This shows us that he was an inefficient king who was selfish, who could not do anything for his fellow animals. However, a little bird taught him a lesson which we all can learn too. With a little water in his tiny beak, he had a greater willpower to extinguish the fire. And so also the writer urges the audience to take an initiative. Because 18 years ago, when millions of individuals came together, they were successful. They achieved their goal. But it all started with just one step towards humanity. The writer mentions that rapid globalization has connected the whole world, but what we lack is global compassion. He quotes Mahatma Gandhi's words: if we are to teach real peace in the world, we shall begin with the children. The author puts forth few rhetorical questions which the audience is not expected to answer, but which leads to introspection. The questions are regarding children who stitch footballs yet never play with it, children who harvest cocoa yet have never tasted chocolate, and children who are dying of Ebola due to lack of vaccination, questions about children who are kidnapped and held hostage. Let us also think about all these children who are facing difficulties for which they are actually not responsible. The meanings of the difficult words are given below. Extinguish means to put out. Adamant means firm. Compassion means pity and concern for others. And inculcate means develop by instructing. Let us move on to the second passage, page number 82, from I remember an 8-year-old girl till page number 83. We must keep our promises. Let us read. I remember an 8-year-old girl we rescued from intergenerational forced labor from stone quarries. When she was sitting in my car right after her rescue, she asked me, "Why did you not come earlier?" Her angry question still shakes me and has the power to shake the whole world. Her question is for all of us. What are we doing? What are we waiting for? How many girls will we allow to go without rescue? Children are questioning our inaction and watching our actions. We need collective actions with a sense of urgency. Every single minute matters. Every single child matters. Every single childhood matters. Therefore, I challenge the passivity and pessimism surrounding our children. I challenge this culture of silence and this culture of passivity, this culture of neutrality. I call upon all the governments, intergovernmental agencies, businesses, faith leaders, workers, teachers, and NGOs, and each one of us to put an end to all forms of violence against children. Slavery, trafficking, child marriages, child labor, sexual abuse, and illiteracy, these things have no place in any civilized society. Friends, we can do this. Governments must make child friendly policies and invest in education and young people. Businesses must be more responsible, accountable, and open to innovative partnerships. Intergovernmental agencies must work together to accelerate action. Global civil society must rise above the business as usual and fragmented agendas. Faith leaders and institutions, and all of us must stand with our children. We must be bold, we must be ambitious, and we must have the will. We must keep our promises. Mr. Satyarthi shares an incident in which he rescued an 8-year-old girl from intergenerational forced labor from stone quarries. Quarries means mines of stone or coal, etc. And intergenerational forced labor means labor which is transformed from one generation to another. The girl had a difficult question to be answered, and her question was, why did Mr. Satyarthi not come earlier to rescue her? According to Mr. Satyarthi, children are observant. They observe our actions and our inactions. The writer challenges the passivity, which means being inactive, and pessimism, which is a state of hoping that nothing good will happen. The writer gives a call to all the governments, intergovernmental agencies, businesses, faith leaders, workers, and NGOs to put an end to all the forms of violence faced by children across the world. The violence against children include slavery, wherein young and innocent children are forced to work for long hours; trafficking, where children are kidnapped and sold to agents who force them to do odd jobs like prostitution; child marriages, child labor, sexual abuse, and illiteracy are some other types of violences faced by children, which according to the writer is misfit to the so-called civilized society. The writer wants the governmental and non-governmental agencies to unite and stand with our children, be bold, be ambitious, and willing to invest in the ideas which will help the children and the young generation. The difficult words are explained below. The meanings of them are: intergenerational means involving several generations. Quarries mean mining site. Passivity means no action taken. Neutrality means not supporting or helping. Innovative means having new ideas. Fragmented means split up. Let us now do the last part of the lesson, page number 83. From over 50 years ago till page number 84, let us march. Let's read. Over 50 years ago, on the first day of my school, I met a cobbler boy of my age sitting outside the gate of my school. I asked my teachers, "Why is he working outside? Why is he not with us in the school?" My teachers had no answer. One day, I gathered the courage to ask the boy's father. He said, "Sir, I have never thought about it. We are born to work." His answer made me angry. It still makes me angry. As a child, I had a vision of tomorrow, a vision of that cobbler boy sitting with me in my classroom. Now that tomorrow has become today, and I am today, and you are today. Today it is time for every child to have a right to life, right to freedom, right to health, right to education, right to safety, right to dignity, right to equality, and right to peace. Today, beyond the darkness, I see the smiling faces of our children in the blinking stars. Today, every wave of every ocean, I see my children are playing and dancing. Today, in every plant, in every tree and mountain, I see our children growing freely with dignity. Friends, I want you to see and feel this today inside you. My dear sisters and brothers, as I said, many interesting things are happening today. May I please request you to put your hand close to your heart, close your eyes and feel the child inside you. I am sure you can. Now listen to that child. Listen, please. Today I see thousands of Mahatma Gandhis, Nelson Mandelas, and Martin Luther Kings calling on us. Let us democratize knowledge. Let us universalize justice. Today, together let us globalize compassion. I call upon you in this room and all across the world. I call for a march from exploitation to education. I call for a march from poverty to shared prosperity, a march from slavery to liberty, and a march from violence to peace. Let us march from ignorance to awakening. Let us march from darkness to light. Let us march from mortality to divinity. Let us march. The author remembers the first day of his school. He learned the value of compassion from his mother, and so, at such a young age, he was compassionate towards the cobbler boy sitting outside the gates of the school, unable to attend the school. The teachers had no answer to Mr. Satyarthe's questions regarding the cobbler. But Mr. Satyarthi did not stop there. He met the father of the boy and asked him why his child did not attend school with him. But the father gave an answer which angered Mr. Satyarthi. The father of the cobbler replied that he and his son were destined to work and not study. This incident took place 50 years ago, but the writer did not forget it because he believes that the situations have not changed much. They are still the same. Today, he wants every child to have right to life, right to freedom, right to education, right to safety, right to dignity, right to equality, and right to peace. He has envisioned the children growing freely with dignity. Mr. Satyarthi conducts a small activity with the audience. He requests them to close their eyes and place their hands over their heart and feel the child inside them. When we learn to nurture the child within us, we will learn to nurture the children around us. He mentions the great reformers, namely Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, and Martin Luther King. And finally, once again, he invites the audience to march together from exploitation to education, from poverty to prosperity, from slavery to liberty, from violence to peace, from ignorance to awakening, from darkness to light, and from mortality to divinity. The meanings of the difficult words are: vision means goal, democratize means make democratic, exploitation means take advantage of, and awakening means revival. Since this lesson is a speech, let us now learn how to write an amazing speech on any given topic. An effective speech has three main parts. First is introduction. In the introduction, greet your audience and introduce the topic you are speaking on. The introduction part of the speech is the most important part. It is this part which decides the impact of the speech. Do not give a separate title for the speech. Keep in mind the occasion of the speech and the nature of the audience. The introduction should not be very lengthy. The main topic should be taken up as quickly as possible. Second important part is the main body. Discuss your main ideas. Include sub-points along with main points. Make sure your main points are related to each other. You can also include experiences or events which you have experienced. And the conclusion or ending part. The conclusion plays a very important role in the success of a speech. Give your own conclusion on the topic in a telling manner. Sum up all your key points Give a good closing statement. It is important to note that the written speech should consist of small sentences having not more than 10 to 12 words in a sentence. Use simple and familiar language. Evaluation. Question number 1. Complete the following web chart. Rights for children. There are total 6 rights mentioned in the passage. However, you are expected to write any 4. Question number 2. Answer the following questions. A. What did millions of individuals demand 18 years ago? 18 years ago, millions of individuals had united together for a cause. You are expected to write that cause as an answer. B. What does Satyarthi challenge? There is a challenge that Mr. Satyarthi puts forth in front of the audience. Read the passage carefully and you will understand what that challenge is. C. According to Mr. Satyarthi, who are calling for us? Mr. Satyarthi mentions a group of society, an age group, who are calling for us, which means they want us to pay attention to them, listen to their voice, and do something for them. Okay, read the passage carefully, you will understand what it is. Question number 3. Write the verb forms of the following words. A. Exploitation. B. Democracy. Both these words are noun forms. You have to convert them into verb forms. I'm sure you all know verb is an action word. So exploitation and democracy, when we change them into action word, will change. That form you will have to write. Question number 4. Pick out words from the passage which mean the following. A. The process of becoming more interconnected world. B. A general belief that bad things will happen. C. Answerable. And D. Lack of knowledge or information. If you were paying attention to the explanation given of every passage, you will understand the meanings. Just go through it, and also some meanings are mentioned in the glossary. You can use them. Question number 5. Rewrite the following statement as assertive. A. Why didn't you come earlier? B. How frightened their eyes look. C. How angry it makes me. D. Should I accept such shackles of slavery? Now, the assertive sentence or the declarative sentence is a sentence which declares or asserts a statement, feeling, opinion, incident, event, history, or anything. Now, the sentences which are given here are mostly interrogative sentences and exclamatory sentences. You have to transform them into assertive sentence. Question number 6. Match the passive voices given in part A with the active voices given in part B. A. 1. He was kidnapped by an extremist militia. 2. The child was forced to kill his friends and family. C. We can do this. B column. A. They forced the child to kill his friends and family. B. This can be done by us. C. An extremist militia kidnapped him. Now, the direct and indirect speech can be easily understood, where in direct speech, the person or the doer comes at the beginning and the action is followed later. Whereas the passive voice is a sentence where we have the object or the action at the beginning and the doer or the subject at the end. Question number 7. What steps will you take to help the deprived or underprivileged children in your locality. Students, if you see around, there are many children who don't get proper education, no food to eat, no proper clothing, and many other issues that they follow every day. You have to be a little sensitive towards them, and this answer is your personal response. Question number 8. Imagine your school invites Malala to preside over Children's Day celebration program. Draft a welcome speech for this guest of honor. Gather information about her from internet or your school library. While drafting a speech, the following points should be kept in mind. First, greeting and salutation. Second, self-introduction and introduction of the topic. Third, a catchy thought, piece of news, short episode to start with. Fourth, body of the speech supported with related examples and episodes. Fifth, conclusion. And sixth, thanking the audience. If you have heard the audio clearly, I have already explained you all how to write a speech. Points are already mentioned. So you can follow these points and write an effective speech. I hope you will find this video helpful. Thank you.